577. In this lesson, we will look at characters 577 through 584 of the 1,000 character classic, the 1,500-year-old Chinese classic in which no characters are repeated. Boring a route through Yu, Jin, crushed, Go. At Jiantu, the Lords pledged alliance. At Jiantu, the Lords pledged alliance. Let's look at line 145. I'll offer an English translation character by character. Fake, borrow, weigh, destroy, Go, a state name. Together they can be translated as borrowing a route through Yu, Jin, crushed, Go. Together they can be translated as, Let's hear it pronounced. You'll hear it from a recording in Korean, Japanese, and Chinese. On to line 146, character by character. Trample, earth, meeting, alliance. Together they can be translated as at Jiantu, the Lords pledged alliance. At Jiantu, the Lords pledged alliance. Now let's hear it pronounced. I'll make a few notes about the composition or radicals of a few of these characters. 578 has the walk radical, and that radical is often used in words related to routes or passages, so it makes sense here. A broader, more common character with an occasionally overlapping meaning is this one, which shares the radical. 579 means smash or destroy, and its components are fittingly intense. The water on the left extinguishes the fire inside. It also contains the weapon component. And 581 makes sense as it means trample, and you have the foot or leg radical on the left. Based on the 8 characters of these 2 lines, I've come up with a word list. I've tried to select words that are common and relevant across Chinese, Japanese, and Korean, though the precise usage and frequency of each word may vary from language to language. Now you'll hear the words spoken. Assumption, en route, ruin, destruction, put into practice, hands-on, land, soil, territory, meeting, society, a league, a federation, alliance. Have a look one more time at the words of this lesson. See which ones you remember. Okay, let's move on. Now I'll take one more look at each of the characters and offer a few additional notes for each character. I'll also give each character a rating. A rating of 5 suggests the character is common and essential. A rating of 1 suggests the character could be obsolete. Okay, so this one, it could mean false or fake, and it can also mean something more like borrow. It's used in an interesting way in Korean, as there's this word, gacha, which literally means false thing. And the ka there is this character, and the cha is a native Korean word root, meaning that doesn't have a hanja sound. So kacha, fake in Korean. And in Japanese, a similar expression would be nisemono, which doesn't use this character. And then a Chinese expression I'll put on the screen. This one meaning fake goods in Chinese. You can see this character is here again. So next, this one, it's very common in Japanese. It's used in verb phrases for things that are happening at that moment. Sort of when you're in the process of doing something. It's also used in Korean in that same way, but I don't think it's as common in Korean in that way. So anyway, interesting. It's used very frequently in Japanese, okay? And this character means destroy. One usage is in the title of a very famous anime in recent years called Demon Slayer. So, Demon Slayer, and this means destroy. So that's on the back of the shirts of all the Demon Slayers in that anime series. And then this one, I don't know if there's any usage of this outside of the state name. It's doesn't hardly even appears anywhere in Korean or Japanese unless you're looking up something related to the 1000 character classic. So, and Chinese, it doesn't seem to have much use outside of that, the ancient state name. So then this one, it gets a lot of usage in Japanese, more so than in Korean or Chinese, because it's part of this word on the screen, which is pronounced as jisen, which means in practice or putting into practice. I think this word is also something that's used in Korean or Chinese. It's just that it's much more common in Japanese. Anyway, this is one of those characters that basically depends on its usage within this single, that depends on its usage within this word, because if it was not used in this word, it would probably fade into obscurity because it's not really used in other senses. And this one is a super common character. It's very important. It's very basic. It's sometimes used on its own. It's part of the Japanese and Korean words for Saturday. But more commonly, it's this other word this is a radical. And as a radical, it appears more commonly in this word you see on the screen, or this character, which means land or ground. So most of all, you see this character as a radical within other words which relate to earth or ground. Another extremely common character, it's used to indicate meetings, parties, and associations. The very common Japanese verb to meet uses this character. So, in Japanese you'd say aimasho, let's meet, and you'd definitely have this character. Mind you, it's a simplified form, the Japanese form, so Chinese also uses that simplified form. And this means alliance or covenant. It's very common in that kind of context. That's not really used in other contexts besides alliances or covenants. But anyway, there's many sort of words variations that it appears in, and you're going to see it in the names of some organizations such as the EU, the European Union, or the Historical League of Nations also, or different martial arts organizations may have this character in the name. That's a wrap for this lesson. In the next sequence, we'll see a reference to roads one state borrowed from an allied state in order to crush a rival state. That's not the case. I got to redo that last slide. Kado milgeg chonto heimen hajun yakpop hampe ponyong. In the next lesson, we'll hear of some references to legalism and some kind of, political philosopher of ancient times who was punished by some of his own ideas that he had got into practice.